Okay. 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 We have one person. Please mention your name and let us know where you are. We're about to introduce our guest. Our guest is in Port Harcourt. Introducing a Emem-Obong right away without much waste of time. Emem-Obong, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Tito.
Okay, you're already live. We were having some technical difficulties and a lot of people were disconnected. But we already have someone back. I would love whoever that is on now, any of the leaders that is on, to drop a message so that we're sure that Mr. Melbourne can see your message. Can anybody drop a message? I want to confirm that he can see your message. If you can hear me, drop a message. The messages that were sent before, we've lost it because of technical issues. So can anybody drop a message now? I'm seeing a leader. Just type your message. Okay. Oduarabong. Okay. You're watching from Benin Republic. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Melbourne, can you see that from your end?
No, I can't see. I can't see any message.
You're not seeing from your end. Okay, that means you can. That means you can
No,
only view from, because this was the
I'm not
challenge
seeing
we had.
anything. And I
Okay,
can
you
only
can.
see it's just you that I'm seeing, Tito. As a matter of fact, I'm not seeing anybody else.
Okay, what's going to happen? I think you can open your other YouTube so that we don't have any issues here. You can open from your YouTube. The message will reflect on the YouTube as well,
Okay,
so that
what's the
whatever
channel,
questions will
please? What's the channel?
at DML underscore zone. Okay, while he's opening, um, let me formally introduce Mr. Emem-Obong. I'm sure most of us have gone
Okay,
through his
I'm there.
profile. We've read his profile. Any other person that is there can drop the. Let me formally introduce Mr. Okay, the audio from the YouTube is interfering.
Yeah, I'm going to mute it now.
Any other person that is there can drop. Okay, now you can drop your messages because the Melbourne can view from the YouTube, not from our platform, but he can view now from YouTube. So you can redrop your messages now. I'm going to allow Mr. Melbourne to formally introduce himself. Um, Mr. Melbourne grew up from Cross River. We have some Cross Riverians who are leaders on this platform currently. Like Odwak says she's going from Benin Republic. I know you've been in Benin Republic for a while. Okay, so let me allow Mr. Melbourne introduce before we go to the main essence of today. In, Mr. Melbourne, can you formally introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tito, for having me on this platform. I don't know if everybody can hear me loud and clear. My name is Emem-Obong Obong. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. I'm the MD CEO of Anazemma Global Enterprises Nigerian Limited, a company I'm actually building with my wife, but me as the family leader and then the business leader, So I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I started out as an IT, professional. But along the line, I think God called me to higher responsibilities, which is Anazemma Global Enterprises. So we had to start that business. That's what I'm doing for now.
Okay, Mr. Melbourne, we realized your company within a short period of 3 to 4 years, you made a turnover of over R1 billion. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct, by the grace of God.
Okay, now for a young man like you, I mean, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of questions to ask. You know, now quality of life is one of the challenges we have, and currently with what's going on in Nigeria, the youth,
Tito, sorry, your
yeah,
network is breaking.
it's breaking. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It's better now.
Okay. Now, currently, with what's going on in Nigeria, the youth, especially most leaders, have been protesting and campaigning. But we discovered that it's not about the protest or the campaign, because like you rightly say, one of our biggest challenges is we, the individuals. So now, looking into quality of life, you have a very high standard when it comes to quality of life. So we would love to get to hear from you how you were able to, mold it to the level you are at which now. And you've been involved in a lot of mainstream and key decisions. You're based in Abuja, even though you're in Port Harcourt currently, but I mean, the whole line of stories, how you're able to make it to get there. Okay, Gabby, I can see you. Please, you can respond through the YouTube so that Mr. Memabon can see your comments. You're welcome. You can also identify and let us know where you're streaming from. I know you're in Abuja already, but you can as well put it out there on YouTube. Because from our end here, from our platform, you won't be able to see it. Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Membom, can you briefly let us know your beliefs? First of all, what's the beliefs behind quality of life and your own beliefs? I think we should start from there.
Okay, yeah. Tito, I wasn't conscious of the quality of life I was living until you brought up this forum, and then I had to do a little bit of research into it, because I just live life and I just try to make the best out of life. That's the kind of person I am, and I believe strongly that every human being deserves the best. And I also believe, please, this is a very key point to note. I also believe that I'm responsible for my life.
Yes.
Nobody, nobody is responsible for my success or my failures. Nobody owes me nothing. Not even my parents. Nobody owes me nothing. I'm answerable to
Even
God.
even the government.
Yeah, now I'm answerable to my wife because I'm married now. When I was a bachelor, I'm responsible for myself. Absolutely. Okay, you made mention of government. Yeah, looking at a government like Nigeria, I don't think it's a government you can rely on. So well, just skip the government and keep doing your thing. But then you still have to checkmate your lifestyle with the legal framework, or like check it with the Nigerian constitution, whether you're living in line with that. But in terms of expectation, expecting government to do things for you, I don't think you should actually rely on the Nigerian government. However, Nigerian government has come up with, over time and in very recent times, have come up with a lot of framework, or policies and kind of fundings to help the youth. So I think it will be a good time for the youth to key in. We can't just sit down and accuse the government or saying, oh, okay, this whatever thing they're doing, whatever benefits or palliatives or kind of push policies they're coming up with, economic frameworks they're coming up with. Now you can say, oh, it's going to be business as usual. People are going to hijack it. Oh, they're going to give it to their cronies and all of that. You never can, you won't be, in the right position to accuse the government except you have tried and experience it for yourself. That okay, you did your best. Always do your best, and then leave the rest. Always make sure that you exhaust your options, and then you can beat your chest and say, okay, I did this, I tried. But then, due to XYZ factors, it didn't succeed. But take responsibilities first.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, the first step that every young person, every youth, every leader should do is to take the responsibility first, right?
Yes, own your life. Own your life. Take responsibility.
Okay, with the beliefs that is on, what are your beliefs that was, I mean, that guided you? What are the beliefs, and or what do you think is the best approach, for quality of life?
Okay. For me, the best approach is, fortunately for me, I have a 3-year-old daughter. And when my daughter was born, I took it upon myself. I said, let me study how people grow, affects us. So it really it teaches me a lot of lesson, because why I say it teaches me, because I'm still in that learning process. I have a day old, I have a baby who was just born, and I heard the cry. I held her in my hands and all of that. And from that day, I said, let me see how God works. Now, I have tried as much as possible to allow my daughter to live her own life. Now, how do I say that? I study her. I don't really allow her at this stage. I've not allowed her to really mingle apart from school. And it took us until she was 2 plus for us to allow her to even start going to school. You know, we at first engage the nannies, to take care of her from home and all of that. Because I'm trying to limit what the things I expose her to, you know. So the key word there is exposure. Your exposure, what you're exposed to affects your quality of life, And then at some point, I spent a lot of times with my daughter when she was growing up, like in her phase, days and months and all of that. I think I spent more, apart from the first 3 months, which the mother was on maternity leave and all of that, taking care of her. When the mother started work, I think I spent more time with her than the mother. So the first word that came out from my daughter's mouth was Papa. Nobody taught her that. I never asked her to say it. She just said it all by herself. And then it got to a point where, okay, we felt, okay, she should be sitting down, and then we placed her to sit down, and then she tried sitting down all by herself. So, and then something tells me that there's something in her that speaks to her, that tells her what to do, that tells her that she's at a certain stage of her growth, that tells her, okay, now it's time for you to open your eyes, now it's time for you to hear properly, now it's time for you to open your mouth to speak. Those are things that we don't have as parents, we don't have influence over, because she will do it at the right time. And every child grows at their own pace. Children could be born the same day. The other one speaks, quite earlier than, the other, or the other walks quite earlier than the other. There are children who walks at 8 months, they started walking. Some walk at 9 months, some 1 year, some even beyond 1 year. That's when they start making their first step. So I have this thing. I came to conclude, although I already knew about it before the birth of my daughter, like I said, but it brought a confirmation. The growth process of my daughter brought a confirmation to what I've always believed in, that there's something God has put in everybody, which is instinct. And in Christianity, sometimes we call it the Spirit of God. So whether we call it the Spirit of God, or we call it instinct, or we call it the Holy Spirit, but there's something beyond our capacity, our control, that is inside of us, that propels us, that pushes us, that teaches us, that informs us, that guides us. And it guides different people differently. So if can you hear me?
Okay,
If
we
you're
can
able
hear
to
you now.
master
We
your
can hear you now.
instincts, then if you're able to master your instinct, then you're able to master your life. Okay? So I think most times what guides me is my instinct. And then I'll speak like from a Christian perspective, because I'm a Christian, I'm a believer in God and and I believe strongly in the Holy Spirit. So I believe that the Holy Spirit is our guide, because when Christ was ascending into heaven, he told the disciples, I will leave you with a comforter. Now, Christ was with the people, but now he left us with something inside of us. Christ now came inside of us through the Holy Spirit. So that's the Spirit, depending on how you tune yourself, what inspires your life, what guides your life, whatever spirit guides your life will always lead you to where your destiny is supposed to be. So it's very important we pay attention to our instincts, our spirit, and what we hold very dearly. So first thing, you must have a belief and hold it dearly, and believe in what pushes you, your instinct, the Holy Spirit in my own case.
Okay, so it all started from your belief, the Holy Spirit, the instinct. Now, in today's economy, and with the way the youths are going, what do you think is the challenge with the youth? From your vast experience, you've done a couple of things with various bodies. Some time ago, you did, I think, was it the United Nations? Is it United Nations or
Yeah. I
UNICEF?
work primarily United Nations. Yeah, United Nations. Yeah. They're my clients. They're my biggest clients.
Okay, now,
So I work actually with
now,
United Nations.
now, a lot of things had put you in that limelight. Now, for the youth, what do you think is the biggest challenge, and what do you think are the strategies, that can help every young leader to be outstanding, to stand out, to be able to defend his or himself, or rather, stand out in order to mold the society and others from your own perspective?
Okay, I'll speak based on my practical experience. But then I always say this to anybody I'm talking to: do not take my practical experience to be your own experience. Everybody have, like, our phases are different, our fingerprints are different, so is our life and our destinies. So whatever I'm going to tell you now should only be a guide, like a kind of guideline, but shouldn't be taken word for word because my experience might be different from your own experience. Okay, so going back to your question, in my experience as an entrepreneur, or from I'll just take you through the process. Now, I was born into a not too I think I will rate my family like a little bit below average family, and then went through the process, the normal, process of going to school, the struggles everybody struggle with and all of that stuff. What I always pay attention to are the events around my life. The events around my life matters a lot. Now, in Nigeria, for instance, because the experience you have in Nigeria might be different from the experience you have in the different parts of the world, because your environment also affects your psyche or what you become. The environment you grow up in, it's a factor also. But then it's really not an excuse, because even if you grow up in a bad environment or a poor environment or environment that is not enabling, it shouldn't be an excuse for you not to thrive. Now, the challenge we have in Nigeria is that of, would I say bad environment or inadequate support for the youth, lack of or inadequate guide for the youth. I was lucky enough, immediately after school, I met a guy who, happened to be like a mentor to me. He was already a businessman. I liked the way he was doing business, so I go around with him doing business and all of that. So I saw his challenges. I understudied him. I saw the challenges. I was very close to him, so I understudied him. I saw the challenges he was going through in business and all of that, and how he solved these problems. And I learned from them. In fact, I'm not sure the guy knew I was learning from him as at the time, because I was only an employee. But yes, I was close, but I was understudying him without him even knowing that I was understudying him, because I was paying attention to my environment, because I was looking up to him, because I was following him to meetings. I was asking questions. The challenge with the youth nowadays, they don't want to go through the process. Life itself is a process. For you to refine a gold, for it to be a gold, to become an ornament or a necklace which people wear, it goes through a process, and sometimes very terrible process. For the example I'm using now, gold, it goes through intense heat. Intense heat. Sometimes where your success is going to come from, or the person you might be learning from, you might even get discouraged because of the way the person might treat you. I was the only one which, of everybody that was close to my boss, I was the only one my boss didn't give an official card to, although he made me a promise. But that didn't deter me. I kept pushing because I know what I was gaining from him. I forgot about, saying, for instance, oh, this guy promised me an official car, but he didn't give me an official car. Oh, because of that, let me be discouraged and all of that. I looked at the gains, I looked at the positive, and I forgot about the negatives. I was looking at the things because I knew where I was going to. I wanted to be an entrepreneur because I had already looked up to him and I admired the business he was doing and everything. And I was eager and I was ambitious to be like him someday. So I never looked at the challenges we had, of failed promises. I was focused on, I was learning how to fish instead of taking the fish from him. Now today I give people fishes because I mastered the art of fishing. So the challenge with youths nowadays is that they don't want to go through the process. Everybody's about the fast life. Everybody's about the fast life. What do you do with the opportunities you have? The youths these days don't make good use of their opportunities. Opportunities come in different way. It could be a friendship that you had. That friendship is going to give you a breakthrough opportunity in a couple of years. But are you steadfast? Are you loyal to that friendship? You don't find it's hard. It's hard to find those these days. Are you easily discouraged because your friend maybe acted in a way you were not expecting, that went to that goes against your expectation of him or her? That shouldn't deter you. So we need, and also focus is very important. First, you set the goal for yourself, and you're focused on achieving that goal, no matter what the challenges could be or would possibly be.
Wow. Okay, we've heard from you. Now, I want to open the floor for questions. Now, if you're not directly on the DML platform, you're watching on through YouTube, please you can drop your questions so that he can see the questions directly from your YouTube comments. Are we together? For those still sending messages here, please drop the questions on your comment space on the YouTube channel so that he can see it and respond to them accordingly. Okay, now, so what would be your advice, like strategies, if peradventure, like now, I want a good quality of life, the quality of life that takes you around the world, travel around to the Caribbean, India, all the tours you've been embarking on. Now, what are the strategies that can guarantee such quality of life? That's a question from someone from my end here,
Okay,
from Tony.
just like the saying goes, how you make your bed, so you lie on it. The saying that says how you make your bed, that's how you're going to lie on it. Planning. He who plans, he who fails to plan, plans to fail. Proper planning about your life is very key. Before you start planning about your life,
Okay, okay. Are you there? I think we're losing you. The network is a bit fuzzy. If you can hear me, respond. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but I think the network is a bit fuzzy from his end. While we're waiting for him to get back, uh, okay, thank you, Mr. John
oh sorry,
Bepe,
I think my internet connection messed up. What I
for
think am I
joining
back
us.
on?
Very insightful words. Hello.
Am I back on? I think my internet connection
Okay, you're
messed up.
back on now. Yes, but
But
your
I can't even see my
visuals.
video. Yeah.
I think the network from your end.
Yeah, my network is bad. My Wi-Fi just went off, so I had to, go on to my GSM network.
We can hear
Uh,
you, but your visual is off.
hold on. See.
Okay, while we're waiting for him to come back, you can prepare your questions. I don't know how he managed to raise a company from zero capital to a 1 billion naira worth company. That would be a good question because I don't know how he did it, but within the span of 3 years, his company rose to a level of having to work with United Nations. Hello. Okay. We're still waiting for him to come back on. I don't know what. I'm sure he'll be back very soon. I'm sure he'll be back very soon. Oh my God.
Hello, Tito. I'm trying to connect to my hotel Wi-Fi. Let me see how that goes. Okay, Tito, I think I'm back on. Can you hear me now, Tito? Tito, can you hear me now? Tito, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Tito. But I can see it's moving, but I can't hear you. Tito, can you hear me? Tito, I can't hear you, but I can't hear you. I don't know whether you can hear me. Yeah, I can see questions from Joshua Adam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Tito, I can hear you now. Come on.
Okay, can you hear me now? Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the network was a bit fuzzy from your end. We
Yeah.
had
My network
several
messed up.
questions. Okay, we had several questions rolling in while you were off.
Okay.
Uh, Mr. John Bepe from Abuja was thanking you for this.
Oh,
And
thank you,
he
John
said,
Bebe.
yes, very insightful words. Okay, so please, okay, let's just take this question from Mr. Josh right then. Please, in your business line, who is your mentor and how did you choose that person? I'm
Okay,
sure you
like
can
I
see the
said,
question.
yeah, I can see the question. Yeah, like I said, I had a mentor who didn't even know he was my mentor.
Wow.
I'd been following this guy since 2007. You know, he was a friend and like an elder brother. You know, I followed him since 2007. We became very close and all of that. We fell out. Okay, no, this friendship started in 2006. We fell out in 2007 because of certain business didn't go right. Then I moved on, you know, started doing other things. Yeah, I was fortunate enough to I've met good people in my life. You know, I find myself associating with some cream de la creams of the society. I've been fortunate to work with the Sarakis. I've been fortunate to work with the Godalos, you know. So I've learned, I've been in the private sector, ever since, I started my career. And what I do when I get into a place, I learn from my superiors. When I was working with the Sarakees, you had the Abiolas, working with us and all of that. Some top guys in the society. So I could, as by associating with them, I could also learn from them. But then I didn't pick up everything. It's not everything you see someone exhibit that you learn. I sieved what I learned, what I took from them. And I learned from their mistakes also.
Wow.
So, but it happened that in 2007, after I had the fallout with the guy, his name is Kyle Ramos, went my way, started meeting other people and stuff like that. And see, one thing I'll tell people before I get back to my story about my mentor, one thing I tell people, it is not about the people you're going to meet, it's about you. Now, why I say it's about you? Are you a likable person? Are you a friendly person? Do you have honor? Do you have integrity? Are you worth that friendship? Because when you meet a mentor, and then the next thing you're doing is you begin to ask, you think the person is now your, what do you call it now, your helper, and then you put all your burden, everything, the things that you couldn't even get from your parents, you now put the burden on this person. The person will run away. The person will run away from you. So it's about who are you. In the organizations I've worked, that I mentioned that I've worked, I've worked in 4 organizations before I started my own. All those 4 organizations, I rise to the top. I get close to the owners of the business in very short period. I become the envy of my colleagues because of who I am. They just like me. They just fall in love with me because I have character, I have integrity, I have honor, and I hold myself in so much high esteem. Because my mom gave me an instruction when I was leaving to Abuja, one of those periods, when I left to Abuja and then visited home. She said to me, wherever you walk, please make sure you don't take what does not belong to you. Make sure you live a contented life.
Wow.
Those were the 2 instructions that I've run with till today.
Wow.
So this guy, like I was the Kyrie month I was talking about, so I got to meet him in 2006. He doesn't know my parents, he doesn't know anybody. He just met, we started talking. He likes me. And they started taking me around with him, for business. He had a car, he had a driver. He would tell me, come and sit beside me. He would sit on the owner's corner, I'll sit on his left-hand side. And then we went about business together and all of that stuff. So I just started learning from him. Then, like I said, we fell out in 2007. Then I moved on with my life. And then in 2013, this guy heard about my exploits. We're not in touch, but he just heard that I'm doing well. Then that was when I was rounding off this PSN on unbundling project. The sale of PSN from PSN to Gencos and distribution companies. I was running off that project. So the guy knew I was on that project. He called me up. I said, oh, I know you're doing this great project. I have a project in National Assembly. Can you come and help me? This is somebody that we fell out in 2007. So you can imagine it took 6 years for us to connect back. So we reconnected back and he called me. Now it was now on my terms, because when he called me, I had gotten the exposure I needed. I had built myself up. I built my capacity. So I was now the person he needed. So I now give him my own terms of working with him.
Wow.
So I worked with him from 2013 to 2017. That was when I was really, really exposed, because his line of business is international and all of that stuff. So while I was working with him, I had this other friend who was my secondary school senior, who happened to work with World Health Organization. Sorry, one minute. I have someone on my door. Let me get the door. 1 minute.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry,
Like
I'm
I
back
said
here.
earlier,
I'm back here. Sorry.
okay, he's
So
here.
so
Okay.
so I had this guy friend of mine who I used to live with him too. This all these things happened. I used to live with this guy in 2006, 2007. And he just met me also in Abuja. I was in Abuja. We met in church. It happened that his younger brother was a classmate with my elder brother, and he was actually my senior in secondary school. But we didn't really know. We're not that close while we're in secondary school. You know, so just the fact that, oh, okay, I'm secondary school mate. This guy took me in. I was living with him. Because I preferred to live with him. Or actually, it was my uncle who invited me to Abuja. I was supposed to be staying with my uncle. But then I saw young guys and I wanted to be among young guys. So I told the guy I want to be, after. Besides, my uncle they were in the same church with my uncle, and my uncle was nice to him. So he decided, okay, fine, no, you can come stay with us. You're a young guy, and then while I was staying with them, I was contributing. He liked me, he liked my principles, my values, and all of that stuff. So I became part of their family. So this guy was later transferred from Abuja. Then I'd grown, I had my own house, I was working and stuff like that. So we parted ways. He was transferred to, I think, Benue. He was in Benue for a while, since I think between 2010 and 2015. He was in Benue. We didn't meet for a very long time. Then they relocated him back to Abuja. He was transferred back to Abuja. One of those fateful days, I was just thinking something in me. I don't know whether you guys are connecting the line. I've made mention of instinct at some point, but something in me just tells me,
Yes.
call this guy. I got that nudge for like a while, maybe like all throughout that week. So that weekend, I just picked up my phone and I said, okay, let me call him. He said, oh, it was going for end of year dinner, Hobode All Student Association's end of year dinner in Abuja. That I'm supposed to be here. And I said, I'm not aware of the meeting. He said, okay, fine, that I can come. That is here. Oh, there's something he wanted to discuss with me. He didn't know how to reach me. He doesn't have my number again. He's trying to get it from his brothers. They said they haven't been in touch with me for a very long time and all that. That it was very good. I called. I quickly put on my clothes, went to meet him there. So he said, oh, there's this supplies we want to do. I was thinking I could discuss with you where you work. I know you guys do contracts. Maybe you can, push it to your boss to handle it. So I said, what's the value of the contract? He said, oh, it was supposed to be about 6 million. I said, 6 million, come on. Now, my boss is bigger than this. I think it's something I can handle. Then, as I speak to you, I had maybe about 500K in my account, which was savings for my house rent. And I'm telling this guy I can do a transaction of 6 million. I believe God that anyhow God was going to make a way for me and all of that. So, sorry, I have a call. Let me take this call. I sent someone to do something for me. Hello?
Okay, we'll be. Okay. Are we good?
Okay, I'm back.
Okay,
I'm
we're
back.
back
Sorry,
from.
sorry about the.
Okay,
Yeah. Sorry,
we're back from the little
I had some
break.
visitors. Hmm. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying.
We're with you. Are you there? The network is drifting. I can't hear you any longer. Okay.
Hello, hello, I'm back. Tito, I'm back. If you can hear me.
Okay. All right. Welcome back. Okay, so we can continue from
Yeah,
where we
sorry about
stopped.
that short break. Sorry, I needed to sort of overlap. Okay, yeah. So I was saying, so there's this. So my friend Anyakan, after the phone call, I dressed up, went to meet him at the dinner party. Then he discussed with me. He said, "Oh, there's this 6 million naira supply, that he's in charge of. Come in, that he's in charge of, and yeah, two people are looking for me. Yeah, please let them come. Yeah. So so he said, "Oh, see, it's about." So I said, "Okay, I can do it." Then me speaking, I had just like 500K in my account, which was my rent savings. And here is me accepting to do something worth 6 million. So the guy said, "Okay, fine. If that's the case, then give me a proposal." Meanwhile, I'd registered a company in 2012, and I never got to use it. I had a friend who worked with ShopRite. Then ShopRite just came into Nigeria, and the guy happened to work with ShopRite as a supervisor. So he said, "Oh, people are doing supplies in ShopRite. You can register a company, and then, he can push me." That business never got to work. But then it it now happened that when this transaction came up, I recall that 20 company I registered in 2012, and I used it, later ahead, wrote a quotation to World Health Organization, and I got it. So I participated in the process, and I got the stuff. You know. So when I got it, now how do you fund it? How do you fund it? So I had to start talking to friends. Like I said, if you're a friendly person, you have goodwill with your friends and all of that. So I had friends who could trust me. So my friends took me to somebody.
Relationship.
My friends took me to somebody and said, "I can vouch for this guy. Do this. Fund this business for this guy. He's going to." Okay, no, that was the second business. The first business was like, I'll call you. You can wait downstairs. You can wait downstairs. I'll call you. So that first business, sorry, it wasn't my this thing. It was my girlfriend, now my wife. Then so I discussed with her. She said, "Oh, okay, she can talk to her father, about the funding for the business." So she took me to the dad. I spoke to the dad about it. Then the dad said, "Okay, that's fine." So he loaned us the money. We executed the transaction, and then we repaid him back. So after a couple of months, the same WHO called again for quotations. Now, having done the first business successfully, I now became a vendor automatically. So they sent me a request for another quotation. Now this time around, it was bigger. It was something over 100 million naira. I still went in, quoted for it. I got it, but they now said, "Okay, they don't really know my capacity." Because then, okay, the first transaction was actually WHO Abuja. This was now WHO Nigeria, like the Nigerian headquarters. So they said, "Oh, they don't know my capacity. They've seen I've done a business with WHO Abuja, but they don't know my capacity to handle 100 million naira business." I said I can do it, but they said, "Okay, they can't trust me with that." So they cut it down to 60 something million for me, and they shared it amongst two vendors. Sorry, hold on, I have someone at the door. Sorry. So they cut it down to 60 something million. So this time around, that funding was beyond my father-in-law, So I went to a friend, who works with an oil company. He's been a friend for a very long time. So he said, okay, fine. He's going to talk to his boss because I knew his boss had the money. So he was going to talk to his boss to fund it. So he took me to his boss. Okay, his boss was not even in town, so we kept calling. The guy was in Port Harcourt at the time. He had to fly into Abuja, for me. So the moment we discussed the business, this award was from World Health Organization. He said, okay, can we go to the World Health Organization's office so that you can confirm? We went to World Health Organization. The moment we went there, the people were like, have you started the supply, and all of that. He did not even wait. He was even pinching me. Let's go. From WHO, we went to the bank. While we were on our way to the bank, he called the secretary, please draft an agreement for this transaction and all of that. The guy went to the bank straight up, transferred. I needed 47 million precisely to execute that job. The guy went to the bank, transferred 47 million into my account. No collateral whatsoever, just on the basis that my friend said he can trust me and he can vouch for me. So I did that transaction successfully. No stories. He got his money, as I went due. And I've made another friend from my friend, and now I'm now a friend with his boss. So after that, I now thought to myself, okay, I have this opportunity now. I'm on the UN platform. Then please remember, then I was still working. This was 2016. I was still working, my 9 to 5 with another company. So I was doing this as a side hustle. So in 2017, I decided to go mainstream. I said, okay, fine. Let me try another transaction. So I went on the UN portal. They had a transaction that was worldwide. They needed some supplies in Syria, where they were fighting war. So I said, I can do it. I applied for it. I got the job. So I talked to an Egyptian company. I researched, which country is closest to, which developed country is closest to Syria. I saw that it was Egypt, and Dubai, but Dubai was expensive. So I had to deal with an Egyptian company. Then, although that transaction wasn't that high, I think it was about 36, I think between 36, 30 to $50. I can't really remember. $30 to $50,000. So I did the transaction, and it went smoothly, delivered to Syria and all of that. Now I'm already registered in the big United Nations platform. So I just sit down and then they send requests. I'll look at the request. Oh, I can deal with this. I'll apply. I can deal with this. I'll apply. So between 2017 and 2019, which is last year, I think I can boast that I became one of World Health Organization's biggest contractor. So they could trust me. The contracts kept evolving. They could now trust me with transactions of 200 million, 300 million. Then I started dealing with other United Nations organizations like UNDP. The first single contract I got from UNDP in 1 year, 2019, 2nd of January, got 2 contracts worth over 150 million naira. First time ever. The same month, the same week, got another job with FAO. FAO is Food and Agri Organization of the United Nations. Got another job from them. 30-something million. Along the line, while I was implementing that job, they increased it to 50-something million. They gave me additional, request. Did that. Then I delved into other United Nations organizations like World Food Program. Then it got to a point where United Nations headquarters started sending me requests to do transactions with them. So I would travel all the way to go and meet them in other countries to do transactions with them. So that's how it all evolved. Then when I had capital, I started doing, started delving into government contracts only on organizations that I know that were consistent with payment and maybe layers of corruption and all of that. But then as I went into the government system, I knew the corruption was too much. I had to pull out because I don't like corruption. I don't do corrupt businesses. So I had to pull out. So these days I don't do government transactions anymore. So then from United Nations, I now started considering other NGOs. These days we do businesses with Plan, Oxfam, FHI 360, what's it called, Creative Associates International, a lot of them, Messi Corp,
Wow.
yeah, and so on and so forth, and so when I saw that, okay, I look at the contract thing, and something tells me that this contract thing I'm doing is based on opportunities created by other organizations. I think I have to create something for myself. So I decided to go into creating my own opportunities. Something came up while I was thinking of that. God brought this guy from a friend from Honeywell, which we used to deal on noodles with for supplies to World Health Organization. Now told me, there's an opportunity in Cadbury. They need a distributor in Nigeria, in Abuja. Why can't we see him? So I said, okay, let's come for a meeting. I called for the meeting. The Cadbury guys came to my office, briefed me on how the whole thing goes and all of that stuff. And I kid him. Now I'm in the consumer market. Now I have a steady sort of income from that stream of income while I'm waiting for opportunities from contracts. So that's how it all happened. And we are where we are today.
Wow. Wow. This is interesting to know. There are two from what you've said. Two major things that I really picked from what you said. Three major things, which is instinct, connection, relationship, and integrity. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Yes, those are the major things.
You got those right. You got those right.
Yes, so I want to believe, for everyone out there that is still hanging on, he has said it all, for you to have a quality of life, your own quality of life. First of all, it must start with instinct. You must be able to develop your instinct, your self instinct, and that instinct starts with your belief, you know, before building up relationship, because the building of relationship is what leads to connection. Now, Mr. Melbourne was able to pull up a company, from zero capital, from instinct, connection, relationship. Within 3 years, the company, can boastfully stamp his feet, and of course, it's worth billions of naira currently. That's a great one. I want to thank you very much for this. It's very insightful. Yeah, just like Mr. Joshua Adam, you've said it: instincts, connection, relationship, and integrity. Yes, those are the things that have, really kept him going. And in 3 years, he has been able to build a company, his own company, within 3 years, standing out, not just working for anybody, but a decision maker in whatever he's doing. Now, remember, I'm trying to take us back. He didn't wait to have money, really. He didn't wait, but rather because of the relationships he built, with one or two people around, um, funds were able to come in. So it's very important, it's very key, because people you meet, you can never tell. You know, it's very important how you build and the kind of people you move with. Mostly said the people you move with will tell you your direction and where you're headed for. So I want to thank you very much for this. I don't know if you have a conclusion for, because most people are off. I notice a lot of people are off currently, but obviously from the platform, they'll be back to see the live video and the comments so far. So I don't know, from your end, what are the contributions? What are the advices and contributions you would like to, for the young people, especially the young people out there? What are the
Okay,
advices? What are you?
my concluding statement, yesterday a young guy came into my office. He said, anyway, he's been talking to me on a partnership he wants me to do with his business, and we've been going back and forth. He's been trying to convince me, to do business with him. So yesterday I sat him down. I said, I told him God is about to bless you. But the blessing is not in the money you're going to get from this business. The real blessing, if God wants to bless you, He works on your life. If God doesn't work on your life, if you're not refined and you get the blessing is going to kill you. So the guy was like, how do you mean? I said, yes, the real blessing is in God changing your character. He's making you worthy of the blessing. That's where the real blessing is. It's not about the tangible you're going to get. He's going to make you likable. He's going to make you a friendly person. He's going to give you integrity. He's going to refine you. He's going to change your values. He's going to change your belief system. Because there might come a time in your life where they're going to take everything from you. Example, I read the scripture this morning and I read about Job, how he lost everything. But what did Job have? If you look at the beginning statement about Job, when they're talking about the life of Job, Job was a righteous man. Meaning Job had integrity, Job had the Spirit of God, Job had the right kind of life, the right kind of values and everything. Because in business, you might lose everything. That's not really the blessing. The blessing is who you are. Because if you have everything right, you're going to bounce back up.
Wow.
So instead of, rather than we go about blaming the society, blaming people, blaming our parents for, not having money, not joining politics, not doing this, not stealing money from Nigerian government and all of that stuff, work on yourself. You are your problem. Nobody owes you. Even your parents that brought you to this world. Even if they had the opportunity, they would have told God not to even have you. So why are you blaming them? They were only a channel for you to come into the world. So you should be grateful for that you're in the world already. So why don't you live your life? Why are you blaming people? Why are you blaming friends? That, friends didn't help you. If you were someone that is worth help, they will go out for you. I just said it now. A friend he gave out his integrity. You can imagine if that kind of friend didn't go well, his boss would have fired him because he was working for somebody who was his boss funding my business. He would have fired him. So he literally gave up his life for me.
Wow.
So who are you? Ask yourself that question. Who are you? Get it right. Actualize yourself. Realize who you are. Because if you realize who you are, you will not do certain things. You will not get involved in certain things. And one thing that will help you actualize yourself is this: love. Everything you do in life, let it be done out of love.
Wow.
Love is the greatest thing in the world. Because God is love. You cannot love God, and you cannot say you love God when you can't love your fellow human beings. If you love your fellow, if Nigerian army loves Nigeria, if there was love in Nigeria, military wouldn't go and kill people at Lekki toll gates. You wouldn't do that.
True.
So when you're relating with people, what will make you be a friendly person? What will make you relate with your friends properly is if you have love for them. If you don't like somebody, just move on. What's the point? Being in somebody's life to hurt the person or to harm the person. If you don't like the person's value, you don't like the person's lifestyle, or the person's lifestyle is not in sync with yours, you move on. Because you need to exude positive vibes by loving people, loving strangers. Anything you do, whether you're flaunting things on the internet, whether you're doing charity, you shouldn't be doing it for the public to see and all of that. It should be done out of love. Even the Bible says anything that is done out of love is a sin. If you're doing things and it's not because of love, it's a sin automatically.
Wow. Thank you very much. Great summary. Love is the ultimate. That's from Joshua Edem. and I believe you hooked up with us from Port Harcourt. Thank you very much, Mr. Emem-Obong. Uh, at times when you see most successful people, you won't understand that spirituality plays a major role. Uh, just like most people will get to see you and think, oh, okay, he's successful probably because of the drive, because of the push, because of his willpower, because of his energy, because he's talented and all of that. But you've spelled it out and you've made it known that spirituality plays a vital role. You said you're a Christian, and in a way, spirituality has a way of shaping, and also making believe. There's difference between believing that and believing in. Most people believe that they will, while most people believe in themselves. So there are two different things: believing that and believing in. So at the level of spirituality, if you believe that, then you keep believing that. But if you believe in, that means there will obviously be manifestation of what you believe in. So we're so grateful for this audience, for this time. I realized most of the people on the platform cannot be seen on the YouTube, but it's okay. At least I think our next session will be able to manage it properly so that all the questions can be put out and it will also be streamed live on the YouTube channel. The platform is actually not on YouTube, but it's streaming to YouTube. I think we got it mixed up somewhere. That's why some people are not reflecting on the YouTube channel. But for outsiders, for those that were able to hook up with us and join us, Udwak, you've been keeping in touch, even both on the platform and on YouTube. Thank you very much, Mr. John Bepe and Co. Thank you very much. Mr. Melbourne, thank you very much for this audience. We hope to have you some other time uh, on other issues. You know, when we sit back to look at your love relationship, most times we wonder how you do it, and there are a lot of young people also battling in that aspect. Um, these are things we need to also look into and see how we can affect lives and effect positive changes. After now, I know a lot of people are still going to come on to, listen and watch and probably get to learn from you. Now, someone was asking me earlier when he read through your biodata, he was wondering how were you able to do it within 3 years? So, but I'm sure he'll get to listen to your story and he'll get to understand that a lot of things played in for you to gain the quality of life which you have now, which includes spirituality, um, availability, consistency, your instinct, connection, relationship, and most of all, your integrity. And of course, you crowned everything up with a great summary, which Joshua spelled out, which is the ultimate love. And I'll summarize that with humanity because living with a sense of humanity, it's no fulfillment. So thank you very much for this great time. We've spent over an hour, 15 minutes. So we'll be going off for now. We thank the viewers. I don't know if there's any question before we sign out. If there's any question for anybody still hanging in there, apart from the thanks that I'm seeing, if there's any question, please put it forward so that Mr. Mem can tackle it before we hang off. Is there any question? Any further question? Okay. In the absence of any further question, I want to believe that we've gotten the keys and the secrets. We've had a member is not a motivator. He's an experiential, businessman, life experiential businessman. He's not a motivational speaker. So he's not coming here to package to tell you, to package himself for you guys. He's coming here to make you guys face the reality of life, the reality of what life has to offer. Now he experienced it from scratch. He told you he's from not too wealthy home, but a moderate, family, and he has made you understand that your parents, in fact, nobody owes you anything, really. You owe yourself the growth, the personal growth that you deserve. So the new Nigeria we're all looking for, the new Nigeria we're all praying for, starts with you as an individual. Okay. So thank you, Mr. Emem-Obong, once more. As we come to the end of this discussion, we're so grateful, and we believe we'll be having you on some other issues that is bothering the young people and strategies to crop these issues. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.